He's feared by opponents, loved by fans, and known worldwide as the Dead Man. But behind the mystique of The Undertaker lies a story of pain, sacrifice, and unimaginable physical suffering. Today, we reveal the real cost of becoming a wrestling legend. The Undertaker. Real name, Mark Calaway. He made his WWE debut in 1990. And from the moment he stepped into the ring, fans knew this man was something different. With his chilling entrance, blank stare, and supernatural aura, he became an instant legend. But behind the eerie walk and the black hat was a 6'10" powerhouse carrying real pain. Every match took its toll. In those early years, The Undertaker wrestled nearly every night, city after city, show after show. He rarely took a break. He never showed weakness. And he never asked for rest. Bruised ribs, torn muscles, damaged joints. He suffered them all, and still walked down that ramp like a warrior rising from the grave. It wasn't just the character who was unbreakable. Mark Calaway, the man, was just as tough, because to him, pain was part of the job, and respect was something you earned through endurance. In 1995, The Undertaker stepped into the ring with a 500-pound monster, Mabel, also known as Viscera. It was meant to be just another match in his legendary career. But one move changed everything. Mabel botched a sit-down splash, a split-second mistake that shattered The Undertaker's face. His orbital bone was broken, crushed. Doctors rushed him into emergency care. His eye socket was severely damaged. They told him, "You need months to heal. Don't step back into the ring." But the Dead Man doesn't rest in peace. Just weeks later, he returned, wearing a haunting phantom-style mask. It looked like part of the character, dark, mysterious, theatrical. But what fans didn't know is that mask was hiding a life-altering injury. That wasn't makeup. That wasn't a gimmick. That was a man in real pain, refusing to break, protecting his face, not just for his career, but for his future. He wrestled with blurred vision, bone pain, and the threat of permanent damage, and still delivered one of the most iconic runs of his career. Because Undertaker wasn't just performing, he was surviving. Over the next 10 years, Undertaker's body continued to break down. He underwent hip surgery, knee operations, shoulder repairs, elbow treatments. In interviews, he later revealed that he couldn't walk properly some mornings. He even admitted falling while brushing his teeth due to hip instability. After the crowd roared, after the lights went down, The Undertaker didn't go home. He went straight to the hospital. Matches like Hell in a Cell with Mankind, or his WrestleMania wars with Triple H, left him bruised, broken, and sometimes barely able to walk. But you'd never know it watching him walk up that ramp in silence, head held high. Behind the scenes, WWE staff, doctors, even Vince McMahon knew Mark Calaway was pushing beyond the limits of the human body. But he never tapped out. He never asked for time off. Instead, he chose pain, injections, physical therapy, rehab, ice baths. Whatever it took, he did it, so he could rise again. Because being The Undertaker wasn't just an act. It was a commitment to the fans, to the legacy, and to the war inside the ring. April 6, 2014, WrestleMania 30. A night etched in WWE history. For all the wrong reasons, The Undertaker faced Brock Lesnar. But something went terribly wrong. Just minutes into the match, Taker suffered a serious concussion. He doesn't remember anything after the first 5 minutes. He finished the match on instinct, but when the bell rang and the streak ended, the world was in shock. And so was he. Backstage, he collapsed. WWE rushed him to the hospital, where he stayed overnight under close observation. For fans, it was the most unbelievable loss in WrestleMania history. For Mark Calaway, It was one of the darkest and most dangerous nights of his life. The streak was over. But what fans didn't know was how close they came to losing the dead man for good. Most men would have stopped. Surgeries, broken bones, years of pain, and age catching up fast. But not the Undertaker. He wrestled into his 50s. Not for money, not for fame, but for something deeper. In an interview, Mark Calaway said, "I couldn't go out the wrong way. I wanted to give the fans one last great memory, even if it destroyed me." That wasn't just a quote. It was a vow. Every time he stepped inside the ring, he gave what little was left of himself. His body was breaking, but his spirit never did. Because for The Undertaker, it was never just about wrestling. It was about loyalty, legacy, and love for the people who stood by him for 30 years. In 2020, at Survivor Series, exactly 30 years after his legendary debut, The Undertaker said his final goodbye. The dead man was finally laid to rest. After decades of punishment, he underwent a full hip replacement. And for the first time in years, Mark Calaway began to heal. Not just physically, but emotionally too. He no longer walks into arenas with smoke and fire, but he walks with peace. Healthier, happier, free. Now, he mentors rising WWE stars and spends his days with the people who matter most, his family. The legend may have retired, but the legacy? It will never die. The Undertaker may have been a character of darkness and fear, but the man behind him was full of courage, pain, and sacrifice. He gave everything, literally everything, for the fans. And though he no longer walks the ring, his legacy walks with us forever.